Around 250 to million years ago, life on Earth suffered its most catastrophic blow to date, a mass extinction event, known as the Great Dying, that wiped out around 90% of life. What followed has long puzzled scientists. The planet became lethally hot and remained so for 5 million years. A team of international researchers say they have now figured out why, using a vast trove of fossils, and it all revolves around tropical forests. Their findings, published Wednesday in the journal Nature Communications, may help solve a mystery, but they also spell out a dire warning for the future as humans continue to heat up the planet by burning fossil fuels. The Great Dying was the worst of the 5 mass extinction events that have punctuated Earth's history, and it marked the end of the Permian geological period. It has been attributed to a period of volcanic activity in a region known as the Siberian Traps, which released huge amounts of carbon and other planet-heating gases into the atmosphere, causing intense global warming. Enormous numbers of marine and land-based plants and animals died. Ecosystems collapsed and oceans acidified. What has been less clear, however, is why it got so hot and why super greenhouse conditions persisted for so long. Even after volcanic activity ceased, the level of warming is far beyond any other event, said Jun Zhu, a study author and a research fellow at the School of Earth and Environment at the University of Leeds. Some theories revolve around the ocean and the idea that extreme heat wiped out carbon-absorbing plankton or changed the ocean's chemical composition to make it less effective at storing carbon. But scientists from the University of Leeds in England and the China University of Geosciences thought the answer may lie in a climate tipping point, the collapse of tropical forests. The Great Dying Extinction event is unique because it is the only one in which the plants all die off, said Benjamin Mills, a study author and a professor of Earth system evolution at the University of Leeds. To test the theory, they used an archive of fossil data in China that has been put together over decades by 3 generations of Chinese geologists. They analyzed the fossils and rock formations to get clues about climate conditions in the past, allowing them to reconstruct maps of plants and trees living on each part of the planet before, during, and after the extinction event. Nobody's ever made maps like these before, Mills told CNN. The results confirmed their hypothesis, showing that the loss of vegetation during the mass extinction event significantly reduced the planet's ability to store carbon, meaning very high levels remained in the atmosphere. Forests are a vital climate buffer as they suck up and store planet-heating carbon. They also play a crucial role in silicate weathering, a chemical process involving rocks and rainwater, a key way of removing carbon from the atmosphere. Tree and plant roots help this process by breaking up rock and allowing fresh water and air to reach it. Once the forests die, you're changing the carbon cycle, Mills said, referring to the way carbon moves around the Earth, between the atmosphere, land, oceans, and living organisms. Michael Benton, a professor of paleontology at the University of Bristol, who was not involved in the study, said the research shows the absence of forests really impacts the regular oxygen-carbon cycles and suppresses carbon burial, and so high levels of CO2 remain in the atmosphere over prolonged periods, he told CNN. It highlights a threshold effect, he added, where the loss of forests becomes irreversible on ecological time scales. Global politics currently revolve around the idea that, if carbon dioxide levels can be controlled, damage can be reversed. But at the threshold, it then becomes hard for life to recover, Benton said. This is a key takeaway from the study, Mills said. It shows what might happen if rapid global warming causes the planet's rainforests to collapse in the future, a tipping point scientists are very concerned about. Even if humans stop pumping out planet-heating pollution altogether, the Earth may not cool. In fact, warming could accelerate, he said. There is a sliver of hope. The rainforests that currently carpet the tropics may be more resilient to high temperatures than those that existed before the Great Dying. This is the question the scientists are tackling next. This study is still a warning, Mills said. There is a tipping point there. If you warm tropical forests too much, then we have a very good record of what happens, and it's extremely bad. Life on Earth has recovered from the Great Dying, albeit slowly, but recovery from the loss of tropical forests may be much more difficult. If the tropical forests do collapse, then there will be no going back, Mills said. We will be stuck with the consequences for hundreds of thousands of years. We know from the fossil record that recovery from a mass extinction takes a very long time indeed, and it's likely to take millions of years for biodiversity to return to pre-extinction levels. So it would be pretty bad if we triggered such an event ourselves, Benton agreed. If we lose the forest ecosystems, that is a tipping point, and that will lock an irreversible change. That's the scary thing. To understand why we should care about this event that happened so long ago, it helps to know more about how our world works, and that means understanding the deep time scale of the planet's history. When we think of the history of humanity, it can feel like we are at the center of a story that started with us and will end with us. But we're not. Human history makes up just a tiny blip of Earth's history. Life on Earth has existed for 3.7 billion years, while Homo sapiens have only been around for 300,000 years. Our current civilization is younger still, spanning just 6,000 years. In geology, that is just a blink of an eye. The vast majority of the planet's history happened without us and has shaped the world we live in today. Earth has undergone dramatic transformations over billions of years. Its surface has been scorched, frozen, drowned, and asphyxiated. Yet life has found a way to survive. And as we seek solutions to the crisis we find ourselves in, looking back through time may be the best way forward. Studying past climates, ecosystems, and species can teach us a lot about how our own world works and how we might be able to fix it. The Great Dying is a case in point. Understanding what caused this mass extinction and how life recovered afterwards could shape how we deal with the environmental challenges we face today. The world is getting warmer and weather extremes are becoming more common. People are moving away from fossil fuels to generate power, but biomass such as wood is still widely used for cooking and heating, especially in poorer countries, because we are burning these materials faster than they can be replenished. Deforestation is accelerating, wiping out the habitats of countless species and reducing the amount of carbon absorbed from the atmosphere. Scientists are worried that it could push the planet past a number of tipping points, including the loss of the Amazon rainforest. But they are hopeful that if humanity can rein in emissions, the damage can be reversed. For instance, the Great Barrier Reef has already lost half of its coral into mass bleaching events in the last 6 years. But reefs can recover if local waters cool down, according to experts. Similarly, if we cut emissions quickly enough, we can prevent the Greenland ice sheet from melting completely. But while that would cause some immediate problems, including rising sea levels, experts believe that over millions of years, it would actually help draw down CO2 from the atmosphere. As we navigate these issues today, it helps to look back at what has worked in the past. Scientists have learned that Earth has the ability to absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and store it long term. Before the Industrial Revolution, the ocean took up around half of all human-generated CO2 emissions, and rocks helped remove another quarter. These processes are happening at slower rates now, but they could be sped up, said Nathan Sheldon, an assistant professor of Earth and planetary sciences at the University of New Mexico. Ultimately, by studying deep time, we can see that humanity is not the master of the Earth. We are just one species among many that are all affected by the changes in our environment. We are part of the Earth, and we need to understand that we cannot escape the consequences of our actions, said Sheldon. In the long run, we need to keep Earth happy if we want to be here ourselves.